Hi, my friends. I hope everyone is doing well. I apologize for being MIA. Being a doctoral student is hard, to say the least. So, I want to catch up on my vlogging, and I want to tell y'all about two really great Halloween books that I read. So, I know we're kind of late in the game, but let's be real, a Halloween spooky book is fun anytime. And these two books that I read don't really have to be read at Halloween, they can be read anytime. I just read them about Halloween to have a little bit of spookiness and just kind of a general spooky theme. So the first book that I read was one that I saw lots of raving reviews about, and that is Bewitch. It is by Paige Mackenzie and Nancy Olin. I did read it on my Kindle and I did buy it. No, that's a lie. Sorry. I got it from Amazon. No, sorry, Austin Public Library. So, this was a really fun read. It was about these four girls. One of them is a new girl who comes to town, and the three girls already have a coven established. They're witches. And the new girl comes to town. She doesn't really know anything about being a witch. She's got a crystal necklace that she wears. She's got really bad anxiety. She really just wants friends. And these girls come, and it reminded me very much of the new The Craft movie, um, Legacy, I think is what it's called. I don't know, the new The Craft. Anyway, so she finds these friends and they know she's a witch. And so they bring her in as part of their coven, and the rival coven in their school notices that someone has been delivering nasty notes to both covens, and they think it's each other. And they come to find out that it's somebody where in this universe, the president has established a law that witchcraft of any kind and magic of any kind is outlawed. And there is a group called something about being and Antima, kind of like Antifa, but it's Antima for anti-magic. So they are against the witches, and they find that they're getting notes from Antima in their coven, and they're like, there's no way this can happen. We're in a tiny little small town. And so they basically have to investigate why Antima is in their town. And while it happens, another witch dies, and they have to investigate that. But then, this is not a spoiler, another witch comes to town, and we find out that she is not who we think she is. So it's really good. It has some really great diversity. There's a transgender witch, there is a bi witch, there's a witch who her family is just very giving and very accepting of her, and then there's the hidden witch who wants to hide everything about her. One of our witches, the transgender witch, is actually born a boy, and they come out to their friend, not really come out to their friends, but they appear as a girl using their powers. And so that was a really cool part of the story that I really enjoyed, but the diversity in it was amazing. One of the witches is very into anime and Pokemon and coding, and I thought it was so cool to see that in a book, especially in a book about young witches. So that was a really fun read. I definitely recommend it if you want something just kind of fun and fluffy. I will tell you that at the end, there is a huge thing that happens, and you will want to throw the book, because I did. So I give that one 3 out of 5 stars. The other spooky book that I read, that honestly is one of my favorites that I read in 2020, because I thought it was going to be really, really bad, and it ended up being really good. And that book is Solstice by Lawrence Allison. So I bought this book because it is supposed to be making fun of the Fire Fest. Do y'all remember the Fire Fest? There was a big Netflix documentary about it, but it was supposed to be this crazy expensive music festival with all these pop stars and music acts, and it was going to be like all luxury. It was supposed to be amazing, and then it ended up being crap. Like, they gave out cheese sandwiches and they only had porta potties, and then they ran out of food, and it was just horrible for everyone involved. So Solstice makes fun of that, and instead of Firefest, it's called the Solstice Fest, and it's put on by this YouTuber who's got millions of followers, and they make this crazy festival that it's $10,000 a ticket, and it's on this private island, right? So everything sounds well and good, and it's really funny because you get to see tweets and Reddit posts and all kinds of things, like people commenting about it as the story goes on. And you you find out how people really feel about these kind of kids and people who get to go to these $10,000 festivals. And it was really entertaining to see that because I felt the same way. Like, are you kidding me? You can afford a $10,000 ticket to a festival? Like, that's ridiculous. And it's really funny to see that in the book. Anyway, so our main character, y'all know I'm horrible with names. I don't remember her name. Our main character sneaks off to go to this festival with her best friend whose dad bought her the tickets to go. And when they get there, they're expecting like luxury hotels and spas and like people are in heels. And then they land on the private island and people are having to trek like 2 or 3 miles to get to their buses. Now, remember the kind of kids we're talking about. So they're like in heels and they've got like Louis Vuitton luggage that's like trunks that they're having to carry instead of just like a rolling suitcase. It's crazy. So they're automatically just like, what the heck is going on? And then they get to where the festival is happening and they find out it's basically like Fyre Fest, where it's just a shit show and a disaster. They run out of food. They run out of housing, which is just tents and sleeping bags. They run out of water. There's porta potties. It is a massive shit show and everyone is upset. But then people start dying. And our main character starts flipping out because they have to figure out why and what's going on and how are they going to get home and be safe in all this. So it was really, really fun. It ends up being not what you think. Like the whole time I was like, is it a dinosaur? It's a dinosaur, right? It's a dinosaur. I want it to be a dinosaur. It was not a dinosaur. But like you think there's sharks and then there's all kinds of theories and it gets really cool into like the theories behind everything as well as like the history of the made up island. So it's got some really great world building. It is a really fun story. Sorry, my dog started getting angry at the mailman. Again, it is a really, really fun story. I actually gave it like 4.5 out of 5 stars, and y'all know how hard I am on my stars. So it was really, really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I actually bought that one because I couldn't find it in the library, and I figured, why not? You know what? I'm going to support an author, whatever. It was really good, and I actually really enjoyed it, even though I went in thinking, like, this is going to be terrible. It definitely was not. And now I am currently reading a lovely book that I'm actually obsessed with, and I am completely with all the hype that is surrounding it. So if you have not been watching my social media, you know that I joined the Book of the Month Club. If not, I joined Book of the Month Club. And at first, I was really hesitant because I was like, I'm a librarian. Like, I don't need other people to pick out books for me. But it's actually been really handy in that it's a surprise book coming for me. And yes, I can go in and I can choose my book, but I can also just have them send me a random book, which is just fun, right? It's like a Christmas gift coming every month. Anyway, so the book of the month for October was this lovely book that I'm a little bit obsessed with, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And Karina and I talked about it on our show Tech It Over last week. Also, Amanda, the Next Gen Librarian, who very proud of her. She is the new Maverick chair. Very excited for her. But we've all been reading it. We're all obsessed with it. So if you haven't heard already, it's about Addie. Her real name is Adeline, but she goes by Addie. And Adeline sold her soul to get away from having to be married off. And she's from the 1700s where you have to get married. Like that's all there is, right? Women get married, you have babies, and that's it. She wanted more than that. So she sells her soul to get away from it. And the catch is that no one remembers her ever. So it's a really good. I am about halfway through it. I am loving it. I actually bought it as an ebook as well as the print book from Book of the Month because it's just so good. I'm obsessed. I love it. It is beautiful. So I highly recommend it. You've got 3 books now that I've talked about. I can't wait to share more with y'all. If I don't talk to you soon, I hope everybody had a happy Halloween, a great Thanksgiving, whether you were alone or with family. I hope you were safe and have some awesome holidays. Bye.